Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to those who are here in the session and those who are gonna be watching their recording in our Play Academy or YouTube or Facebook or whatever you catch their recordings. We're so happy that you are interested in this topic. We sent out an email on Monday because, well, the holidays are quickly approaching. And as you know, we have Black Friday and Cyber Monday right at our doors. So we need to start preparing and doing a couple of different things if we want to take advantage of the holiday season. So, having said that, for today, we have a very concise office hours. We are going to begin just sharing a couple of tips and insights for the prep time for the holidays. We have a cool presentation we made with a couple of different insights and tips that you can take advantage of. And remember, if you need a special strategy session for a client or for you, feel free to book. The entire team is here to help you just get the best and squeeze this season as much as we possibly can. And then at the end, we are going to have a Q&A, very short, if there are any questions about any specific topics or anything you want to say, really. So without further ado, let's get started. And remember, this is going to be uploaded into Play Academy, and there you have the comment section. So you can always leave questions underneath the video, and we will answer all of those. So to begin with, I think it's always so important and relevant to remember that this holiday season, it's probably the season with the highest opportunity in the entire year. There's no other time like this time, just because consumers are going to be so ready to buy. Everyone's prepped. You are probably prepping your shopping carts already. They're in Amazon or somewhere else. So it's really important to understand we need to be using this opportunity and the market trend to your favor. Now, there's a concept here that we like to call in marketing Q5. And let me explain what we mean by that. Usually during the holiday season, we begin with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Those 2 days have a high peak, as you can see right over here. But then the 2 or 3 following days are what we like to call Q5. During those days, consumer intent is still very high, and a lot of companies already burned all their bullets in the days before. So Q5 is the ideal day for smaller advertisers to take advantage of people who are still online and still shopping for deals. So whether you're offering a SaaS and you're going to be offering a special discount for the first 3 months or a first month free, or if you have a small business and you're going to be offering a special discount for your customers during that day, that's probably the best time to do it. So if you're going to take advantage of Q5, there's a couple of things you probably need to know. So we put together a couple of different metrics and numbers to help you understand what this high season means. So the cost per mile, that's a CPM, and that's a metric you can always catch in your Play dashboard, is going to be 34% lower. And all these numbers are coming from a Meta paper that we will share also in the office hours recording in Play Academy, so you can take a look at what we mean. And CVR, like cost per view, it's 17% higher. So that means we probably need to be taking advantage of video format and image format. Now, the peak conversion rates can rise 200 or 300%. And I think that's no surprise to anyone. Those days are where people are just looking to get some deals. And the customers are more likely to actually complete their purchases during these events. So if you have someone you've been retargeting for ages and they are still in your shopping cart, then this is probably the time with that discount and that good offer to finally get them to convert. And now, what's the deal with competition? You probably know if you are preparing for the season and just finishing Q4, Q5, your competitors are probably doing this exact same thing. So that's why the advertising cost can rise up to 30, 50%. So you need to be prepared. And if you're an agency owner, then you probably need to transmit this to your customers. Those days of advertising are going to be much more expensive than any other days during the year. So make sure you save some budget for this. It's even better to use that budget for these days and then just finish off the rest of the year with a lower budget, but make sure you allocate the budget where it needs to be during those days. And despite the higher costs, as you can see, ROAS can be 4 or 6 times their normal periods. So you are going to be able to drive bigger conversions, bigger average value orders, bigger ticket. So having said that, let us move to the advanced planning. We have a couple of different sections, very short, but with pretty concise steps for all of you to hear. So for this, Billy, I let you take the mic for advanced planning.
Yeah, definitely. So as Carl said, we're all looking at the holiday season, and there are some quick, advanced planning that you need to do prior to this taking place in your accounts, in your sub accounts, in everywhere where you need to organize your campaigns. Well, first, develop your campaign strategies 2 to 3 months prior to this. So work on those long-term strategies. Again, as Carol said, inform your clients because it's really important that they understand when their costs are going up, when their costs are going down. Otherwise, they're gonna see that spend. They always get some, well, and that takes us to the second kind
And
of
complain, yes.
point. Yeah, the pre-negotiation of ad space and rates with the platforms. So both this and the creating segmented audience targeting lists are key points. You need to think of this and keep it in your plans, especially if you have pixels, if you have audiences set up, because as Caro said, retargeting for any audience which you have in there of those customers who are still not purchasers, remember that you can exclude your current purchasers and target those ones who are only visiting over and over your site, just looking to make that conversion at some time. This is the key moment. And if you haven't yet started working with audiences, do it as soon as possible because these are the windows of opportunity that we want to take advantage of. So
An important
in the
thing,
next
Billy.
point,
Oh, and now that
yeah,
you're mentioning this, Philly, an important thing, if you create a segmented audience, for example, for retargeting, we will let you inside of Plate select that audience. And if you don't have one, you can create one for retargeting at least. You can just create a retargeting list for engagers with your Instagram page, Facebook page, or your website. So if you don't have one, now it's the time to create a campaign and let it collect information before the day actually comes. Don't turn on that campaign the exact same day of the event, or that's not going to do anything. So moving next, budget optimization.
Okay, so budget optimization. So you will need to allocate like 20 or 30% higher budget for holiday periods. This was mentioned by Caro before. So for holiday season like Black Friday, for example, we know that there's a lot of competitors on advertising platforms. So you want to make sure that you have a bit more of budget for those days. Of course, set flexible bid strategies and establish clear ROAS so that you can then know if your campaigns were successful, if your ad spend was correctly used. So it's a good idea to establish this clear ROS and tax.
Exactly. So moving ahead, Philly, creative
yeah.
prep. What do you need to do when it comes to your creatives?
Yeah, well, definitely, as you know, you can feed the AI with lots of things. We always come and tell you, in our meetings, you go in there, add some of your personality, and in these specific events, you want to add event-specific creatives, event-specific messages. You do not want to have your regular, hey, buy from me message when you're going through Black Friday, the special offer, and everyone will be bombarding people with this clear messaging of come convert now, buy it before it's over. So you do want to have a clear message which goes with this. And again, you do not have to go headline by headline, adding it individually, editing it inputting your own information. You can just ask the AI, on that edit prompt section. You can say, hey, make it so that on the headlines and the descriptions, it mentions that it is Black Friday, it's a special offer, and so on. And this will generate specific creatives for the event that you're working on. And this is really, really important because otherwise your ad will just look the same as it did all year. It will not stand out. And the same goes, if possible, to your images, to everything that you can do. The better, basically. The more your profile is there, the more the offer is in there, the better. Of course, always A/B test your holiday messaging. That is key. That's always key. You know it. But if you can do it in here in your new ads with your new branding, with your new messaging in here, also attempt to target. As we always say, you need to be testing to know which audience, which message the audience is actually resonating with. So it's key that you're trying to say, okay, let's try to make a real focus on our discount. Let's try to make a real focus on how this is a time limited offer and so on. So as to see what the people is resonating with. And well, customization, as I mentioned, is a key point on this. Add your branding, have a clear value proposition which contains a part of your identity. I'm sure that most of you are working with this. And create the urgency-driven content because again, these are limited offers and everyone is gonna be bombarding everyone telling, hey, you have $10 left in your pocket, spend them over here. And that's what you got to tell them. You got to tell them it's until, I don't know, Monday, you have 48 hours left. It's the moment when you want to, as we said before, activate those colder kind of customers who are there just laying around on your data sets, waiting to be converted. This is the key moment to tell them, hey, you have 48 hours. It is now or never. So yeah, go ahead and please make the most of this season.
And having that into account, Philly, if I may, a lot of agencies and advertisers really think that Black Friday season and holiday season is just for e-commerce advertisers, just for people who are actually selling physical products. So maybe you're not Amazon, you are not selling shoes, you are not an e-commerce store for clothes. Maybe you have a service, and most of you do. You guys are selling services, but if you're selling a service, it's very likely that your clients are doing things, for example, like flooring, or they are doing nails, they are med spas, they are working in a very specific niche. Then this is the opportunity to create offers for those niches that don't usually have offers during the season. So just get yourselves out there. If you have a flooring contractor as a client, then have them set a creative that says 20% off in your first, I don't know, in your kitchen floors, for example, or just be creative, get creative, but don't think this is only for e-commerce because that's a big mistake. This is a season for everyone to take advantage because people are going to be online for hundreds of hours a day, if that was a possibility. Now, Bao, tell us about performance monitoring. How can we make
Okay.
sure we are tracking everything that's happening in our campaigns?
Okay, so it's key to use our real-time analytics dashboards. You can trust Play here, so we're going to give you the data of your campaigns real time. You will need to make sure that you have a rapid response team for ad optimization. What this means is that if you're seeing that you have a campaign or an asset that is not performing at its best, you want to make sure that you edit that and you optimize that. Of course, if you have the optimize for me option in your campaigns, we're going to get that for you, but you want to make sure that you keep a close eye on your campaigns and that you have your campaigns correctly optimized. Of course, adjust your campaigns during the event. You can use the scoring that we have on our dashboards in Play, but it's really, really important to keep a close eye on your campaigns because it's a really key moment in holiday season.
And that also applies for you, even if you are not participating of the event, because your costs will get high, even if you are not advertising specific offers. You will see a raise in your cost per clicks and your CPMs will lower, but cost per actions will get higher, cost per leads will be higher. So make sure you are ready, you are seeing, because that's the explanation for when you share the reports with your clients or with yourselves, then make sure you understand cost is gonna get high during those days. So I think that was our last slide for Black Friday. We are going to be hosting office hours next week too, right before the day. So next Thursday, we're going to be sitting here. So if anyone has a question specific for their campaign, you will be able to come, ask away, share your screen, let us take a look at what you're doing. And I see a hand raised. Hi, Trevor. Go ahead.
I just have a quick question because we've been getting a lot of clients coming in asking um, just a couple of a few questions.
Mhm.
One, I know that eventually you guys said that we would be able to pull in um, previous posts, not as a boosted post, but pull it into a regular ad. Is that still in the workflow?
That's already here. If you're talking about boosting a
Sure.
post, that should
No,
be.
not boosting a post. Because in the ad world, a boosted post is like throwing money down the drain. More like, and the other thing is you can with a boosted post, you can only do one post at a time. It's maybe it might be easy if I share my screen. Is that a possibility?
It is not. I'm really sorry. I'm hosting this on Zoom, and I always mention this, and I have a kind of crazy setup to host this on StreamYard too. So I'm sharing my screen.
Okay. Yeah, understood.
Go,
Um,
go ahead.
so
If you can explain.
this is kind of what's been discussed in sort of the group. And I think what's happening is the team at Ply is missing it. But those people who've been running agencies for a while, we know this, is that when you run a regular traffic ad and you click on, let's say, the plus button to add videos or the plus button to add
Mhm,
images, right? What we're looking for is the ability to pull in our post from that area because you want to run ads to those posts, not as a boosted post. Because again, running a boosted post is just throwing money down the drain. It's just a waste,
mhm,
right? And in that boosted post area, you can only do that with one image or one post anyway. We're
mhm,
trying to run it as a traffic or an engagement ad, just like you can in Facebook. In Facebook, you can go in and say, "Hey, I'm going to pull in my last 10 posts, and I'm going to run an ad from Facebook just for engagement." And Facebook will in turn determine sort of which of the posts it should show, which ones get the most engagement, and it'll keep rotating through your content so that you can keep high engagement on your content. And the reason why you want to pull in more than one is because Facebook rotates through those posts so that your stuff stays fresh and you get to continuously add to sort of that post library so that the things that you're running ads to are stay consistent. And to that end, a lot of our clients who use that strategy or who came over from companies like Ad Espresso are still having to go out of the platform to do this, which sort of defeats the purpose of them having our platform. So we lose them to platforms who have been doing this for years. We're just being able to run ads to creating real ad campaigns based upon your post, not a boosted post, just you pulling. So in that area where you hit the plus button to add in videos or the plus button to add in um, images, and
mhm,
it pulled, and you hit that plus button, and that little area comes up, and you got, oh, I can create an AI image, I can pull in stock photos, but we want to be able to pull in posts. So I'm not for sure when you guys say that, hey, this is already done. I think you're missing what the people in the group are really gunning for, because a lot of those people have been, in other ad agencies, and they know the routine. And this has sort of been a thing in Facebook for years. So that's really what the question is. And sorry to be so long-winded.
No problem. And I see, Wesley, your hand is raised, but before I wanted to ask, because we have
There.
these options right over here.
Yeah, here.
Yes. So, and I want to understand what you mean exactly, because in here you have the ability to pull from your Instagram account, Facebook, and Facebook
Um,
page too.
so here is where you want to pull in your ad. Like if you, not your ad, but you want to pull in a post that you posted to your page.
Hmm.
See, in here you can't really pull in your post. These are just pulling in sort of images and things on your page, but you can't pull it on a post.
Yep. So
It's,
Trevor, I'm sorry to interrupt. So what you would, wait, I think I'm echoing. So what you were referring to is to create a traffic campaign that would send traffic to your existing post.
yes, which we do,
Mhm.
which is the
Yeah.
current, which is this has been going on for years. It's so that when you are posting, you want to try to drive some traffic, especially for brand new campaigns or brand new companies who are really trying to fight to be seen.
Mhm. Yes. So for now, the option that we have, it has the engagement goal that you mentioned that you don't like. But what I read on our Facebook group, and I also saw that somebody else mentioned at Espresso, um, our team added that to our roadmap, so as to be able to do exactly what you're requesting.
Okay.
We can double check though with our tech team just to
Yeah,
make
that's
sure
fine.
that it's exactly what you're saying. But I remember I recall seeing that request to mimic that at Espresso feature. So
Yeah,
let us
and
ask
I hate to,
our team.
I hate to bring over competitors, but
No,
what
no,
we
of course.
started getting people just jumping back to that because it was such a, it's such a critical component, and they didn't want to be split between companies, so to speak.
Yeah,
And so I
what I
know you guys
do
said you didn't put it in
notice.
there, and I just think I think the devs missed what people were really asking for in the Facebook group. So it's like, okay, let me pop on here and clarify for everybody because I think there was like a disconnect between what the group was requesting and what the devs were hearing.
Yeah, what I want to clarify though is that the function of campaigns with traffic with posts, I think it doesn't allow you within the ad level to launch multiple posts. So it would have to be in individual ad sets. In that
No, that's
sense,
not
can
true.
you
But
test?
I'll make you a video and send it to you. I'll make you a video,
Yeah,
and I said this
definitely,
before.
definitely. I was just testing it out. So what you're mentioning is an update in the assets, which can be selected basically from the traffic campaigns and conversion campaigns in that sense. But do let me know if you can actually select more than one post, because I believe
Yeah,
that this cannot be
I'll make
done
you a
in
video.
beta in traffic
Yeah,
campaigns.
I made a video before, but that was like about 2 months ago. I'll make a video showing you how it gets done, and then that may bridge the gap.
Yeah, definitely.
I will take care of that. But yeah, so that way I can show you how it's at least done, and then I think that may be what the problem is. Okay. Well, listen, you guys are doing a great job. This was very helpful for Black Friday. I'm gonna
Thank
be
you,
sharing
Trevor.
it with our people, and the research that you guys put into what you shared today was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Trevor. And we enjoy very much when we have your feedback because we want to understand what is it that you need specifically. So whenever you have something like this about anything, please send it our way. We have an improvement.
You guys are always on top of it.
Oh, sorry.
I said you guys are always on top of it.
Oh, thank you. We try to be. Some things slip through the cracks, but we try to catch everything. So thank you. And Wesley, I think your hand was raised before.
Yes, morning team. I just wanted to answer Trevor, but I actually misunderstood what he was saying, just with regards to the actual posts. I know that you can pull content from previous posts that you've put in. I do have two other questions to ask the team. The first one is, obviously, I understand that during Black Friday, your ad spend is technically going to be impacted. I know that this is the time when companies that don't normally advertise all of a sudden want to launch these campaigns. How does Black Friday affect our Google ad campaigns that Black Friday related?
That's a really good question. And I think if I would really want to say something, but I can go ahead and get started. Google's my kingdom. Usually, the cost per click for each keyword is pretty standard during the year. It depends, of course, on your location. So, cost per click can vary depending on the city you're in, the country, and a couple of different factors. But during that day, a lot of people are going to be using the keyword offer, the keyword discount, the keyword Black Friday, keywords that are related specifically to the event and that are probably keywords you're going to be using yourself. Because that's how people are going to find you, like Black Friday offer for SaaS product or for a tool or for whatever that might be.
Okay.
So during that time, you will see a peak in those keywords. And if the cost per keyword is higher, then your global budget will not be as effective. Therefore, you have to compensate, raising your budget a bit more for the higher cost per clicks that you're going to be seeing. Now, if you're aiming for conversions, then it's still the same thing. If you have a bidding strategy of maximize conversions, which is something you can now set inside of Play. So if you're driving a click strategy, then yes, expect a raise in the cost per click. And same thing, if you are advertising for a maximized conversion, a CPA or a ROAS, same thing, because all the pixels are tracking information for purchases, for shopping carts, for forms, for message sections, specific actions. So all of this is going to get more expensive. Doesn't matter which bidding option you're using, just because the keywords are going to be more expensive. And that also applies for Performance Max, which doesn't really use keywords, but it uses signals. So even when clustering the different groups of audiences, the cost is going to be higher just because every advertiser is going to be putting more budget, raising their bids for all the different inventory that Google has. So this is not only in Google search, this is going to be happening in Discover, Gmail, Demand Gen, PMax, YouTube, and pretty much every section where Google can reach. So what I would say it will affect. So if you can compensate, raising the budget just to match that higher cost per click, that'd be great. So
But if I'm not running a Black Friday campaign, will it still impact? Obviously, if there's any keywords targeting that are related, like offer, like you mentioned, but will we see an increase in cost if it's completely, let's say, for example, it's for an accountant and it's got nothing to do with Black Friday? Will we still see an increase in cost just because of the period or not really?
You will, yes, because this is affecting everybody. Think of Google Ads as a
Okay.
huge auction. And in the auction, you are not only competing for that click with people in your own niche, you're competing for that click with every advertiser in the area that you are targeting. So for Google search, the peak is going to be a bit lower and it's going to be mitigated by keywords. But if you have a Performance Max campaign, display, Google Call Ads, YouTube, or any kind of campaign, then yes, expect to see a peak. Doesn't matter if you're not participating in the event. You're an accountant, you're doing your own thing, minding your business, but you will still see costs getting higher. So yes, that's to be expected.
Awesome.
Thank you for that question. That was wonderful. Well, everyone, does anyone have any other questions? Remember, this is a very small session. We're going to be here next Thursday too, to make sure if you are advertising during the Black Friday or Cyber Monday or Q5, just any questions you have, we're going to be here. And if not, and you want us to take a look at your campaign numbers during those days, we'll still be here for that. And in that session, you will be able to share your screen, hopefully. So we can take a look. But well, everyone, then if that's it and no more questions, whenever I say this, someone has a question. But if there are no more questions, then we are gonna wrap it up. Remember, the recording's gonna be in Play Academy, same as all other recordings for all the other previous sessions. So you can catch them there. And you know where to reach us, where to find us. Trevor, we are going to be expecting your video so we can share it with the team to let them know what you mean exactly. And yeah, guys, thank you for being here. If it's your morning or afternoon, I don't know what time it is where you go. Well, let's say it's your morning, but thank you for being here. And we will see you next week. And if you have any questions in the meantime, just feel free to email any of us. So thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you. Reach out, remember.